And we are live for our part 4 of our WrestleMania memory series. We've done 3 other live streams, and this being the 4th and final. And we've gone through our top Mania moments, top Mania matches, and top Mania performers. Now, all these guys who are with me today are parts of the 4 horsemen of the YWC, my good friends. And I want to welcome them all to the channel. I have Daniel Geiza. Welcome, Dan.
Thank you for having me on again, Gene. It's great to be back.
Awesome. I have the Club of the Man 1993, also known as Mike. Welcome, Mike.
Thank you for having me on, Gene.
And also, last but certainly not least, we have Robbie One Kenobi. Welcome, Robbie.
Thank you, Gene. Always a pleasure to work with you guys. And as of today, I like to proclaim myself the king of sound style, because if you guys know my I play some of the best wrestling sound clips during these live streams, like
Oh, that's great. Oh, man.
So, yes, thank you for having me on, Gene. Always a pleasure to work with you guys, my horseman brethren. And like I said, I am the king of sound style. Sound style has arrived.
Sound style has arrived. And today we will be giving you guys our top 10 WrestleMania pay-per-views of all time. We'll take turns giving all of our matches. We'll go from 10 to 1. And I don't know what the order will be. We'll probably just go Mike, Robbie, Dan, then me, and maybe switch it up or something like that. So let's get into it. So we'll start it off with Mike. Mike, what is your number 10 WrestleMania pay-per-view of all time?
All right, so my number 10 probably is going to be a little bit of a weak one. It's just one that there was a couple matches that I saw in it that I enjoyed, and then one specifically because of the moment it had. But my number 10 was WrestleMania 26. Again, there wasn't really too many great matches on that card, but there was a couple ones on that card that I actually enjoyed. Despite not going over, the right person not going over, on this match, I still enjoyed Triple H and Sheamus, but the one I especially enjoyed in this pay-per-view was definitely Chris Jericho versus Edge. As I always said, I wish we'd be able to see more of Edge live. And then, of course, the big moment that put this one sky high above all of them was the Streak versus Career match between Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker, one of the best main events probably in WrestleMania history, just of how iconic that moment was. And once again, I mean, this definitely is not one of the highest rated WrestleManias, I'd say, but it's just a couple of those matches makes it one of my personal favorite I ever watched. So that's why my number 10 is WrestleMania 26.
That's a great choice. And spoiler alert, that might be on my list. Spoiler alert. All right, so let's go to Robbie. Robbie, what is your number 10 WrestleMania pay-per-view of all time?
So number 10 on my list is a nostalgic WrestleMania. It's a WrestleMania that has a special place in my heart, and it's WrestleMania 12. Like I was saying in my favorite WrestleMania matches video, WrestleMania 12 was the very first WrestleMania that I saw as a kid. It was the very first time I got to see The Undertaker wrestle live against Diesel. It was, of course, the night I got to see Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart in the Iron Man match for the WWF Championship. And a lot of people feel that WrestleMania 12 is a one-match show, and that one match, of course, is the Iron Man match. But this is a little bit of an underrated WrestleMania because you had a good hidden gem of a match between Savio Vega and a young Stone Cold Steve Austin. You had, of course, the Ultimate Warrior's return and a squash match against a young fella by the name of Hunter Hearst Helmsley. Before he was the King of Kings, before he became the Cerebral Assassin. And you also had a fun and exciting Hollywood backlot brawl that I remember watching that as a kid thinking, what is going on, man? Like freaking Roddy Piper and Goldust, and Goldust gets stripped down to his undies or fishnets.
I love that. That was a great match.
WrestleMania 12 was a good show, and like I said, it's very nostalgic to me because it was my first WrestleMania, and it was the Mania that introduced me to 2 of the guys that ultimately became my top 2 favorite wrestlers of all time. So good WrestleMania, underrated, and it's definitely not a one-match show. Yes, that one match was the match of the night, but there's also a damn good big man match between Taker and Diesel. Good underrated gem between Austin and Savio Vega. So you get to see Austin when he actually could do some good technical wrestling. And you got that Hollywood backlot brawl. And, of course, the return of the Ultimate Warrior. So number 10 on my list is WrestleMania 12.
Another great choice. That was definitely a good Mania. Man, that's probably one of my honorable mentions.
Yeah.
Like,
it's underrated.
Yeah, it's underrated. It really is. But like some of the old Manias, I need to go back and watch so maybe I can appreciate them a little bit more.
Yes.
Yes.
So I'm gonna finish it off with my number 10, and that would be WrestleMania 22. A very solid Mania, in my opinion. Very solid card and some pretty exceptional matches. Of course, we had the hardcore match with Edge and Mick Foley. We had Undertaker facing off against Mark Henry in a casket match. And if you remember, I believe Undertaker tombstoned Mark Henry in this match. And that was incredible at the time. And then he put him in a damn casket.
Yeah.
I think this is when he became 14-0. We had father versus son. Shane took on Vince. You know, just the match card up and down was just incredible. Mysterio won that triple threat match against Orton and Angle after he won the Rumble in Eddie's honor. So that was, you know, some good storytelling there. And Triple H and John Cena had a hell of a match that Triple H pretty much carried, but he made John Cena look good. So this was definitely a good WrestleMania, in my opinion.
You can't see me.
You can't see me. John Cena, recognize.
That was awesome.
Yeah. So, all right, moving on. We have number 9.
Wait.
Well, go ahead.
We forgot Daniel.
Did we forget him? Oh,
Yeah.
man.
Uh-oh. You know what happens when
Oh,
you
God.
me?
Oh, no.
You know what happens? Should I do it? Should I do it?
Wait. Before you put me on the list,
Well,
okay, the channel is BSP. Okay, we botch sometimes. That's the gimmick. So
I got
please,
the pen in my hand. I have to go. Hold on.
I'm begging you. No, wait, please don't put me on the list.
I'm going.
Oh, God, he's doing it. Oh, no.
I got it.
Wait, please.
And I'm back. I am back, baby. I got the list in my hand.
It's on the camera.
Oh,
Here
no.
we go. Oh, you want this on camera? Well, I'm going on camera. Here we go.
God.
See it?
Oh,
See
man.
it? Ha 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 ha. I got the
Oh,
list.
no.
Yeah, you know what happens? BSP Wrestling Show. You just made the list.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Try and skip me. I see how it is.
Oh, no. Oh, man.
Oh, you knew it was coming, didn't you?
I will
Oh, man.
get on the list, I think.
Oh.
It's an honor. It's an honor. Take it as an honor.
Well, you
I
forget
just made the list.
great American, a real American like Daniel.
You just made the list.
Yay!
Okay, Daniel, I'm so sorry.
Right.
It's okay.
You go
It
ahead and give us
happens.
your number 10. Oh, man.
We're on number 10. And to me, this is kind of an underrated WrestleMania as well, seeing as how this was the catalyst to me, the birthplace of the Attitude Era. Let's go back in the time machine to 1998, WrestleMania 14, Boston, Massachusetts. I really like this WrestleMania. Everything on this show, to me, was solid and enjoyable, from the opening match between Taka Michinoku versus Aguila for the light heavyweight championship to a solid match between Triple H and Owen Hart for the European championship. The mixed tag match was fun between Mark Mara and Sable taking on Goldust and the late Luna Vachon. We had The Rock and Ken Shamrock, where Ken Shamrock went completely apeshit and nuts. God, he was just such a fun, crazy SOB to watch. You never knew when he would just go off the rails and go completely nuts.
Yeah, he was
that
crazy.
great. We had the dumpster match for the tag team championships between Cactus Jack, Chainsaw Charlie taking on the New Age Outlaws. That was a really fun, unique match stipulation. The Undertaker in one of his better matches at WrestleMania. I love the Undertaker-Kane feud heading into 1998. One of my all-time favorite feuds. Just being able to go back and watch this, you know, as I'm a late fan, I didn't start watching until 2008, just to see the storytelling that was put into this feud and to see it culminate. Like, they had this match set for WrestleMania all the way back to when Kane debuted in October, and I appreciate long-term storytelling. It's a really good Undertaker match right here against Kane. And then finally, the main event. What more can you want? Stone Cold Steve Austin defeating Shawn Michaels. And you knew in this match he was hurting. The Heartbreak Kid hurt his back. You could tell the amount of pain that Michaels was in. But Austin became the man on this night and won his first World Wrestling Federation Championship. And who could forget Mike Tyson as the special enforcer? To me, really good WrestleMania. Really good show.
Definitely got to agree with you there.
Whew.
Don't forget, at that same WrestleMania, that is a WrestleMania, and I mentioned this in my top favorite WrestleMania moments list. That's the moment where Pete Rose got.
I knew it. Yeah, Pete Rose, not Pete Rose.
I left tickets for Bill Buckner, but he couldn't bend over to pick them up. How about it?
Gosh.
I love that moment. Pete
Oh,
Rose.
my goodness.
What a legend.
Yeah, that was incredible.
Whew.
Oh man, now that I've been put on the list and
Yes.
we've all done our number 10, let's finally move on to number 9.
Okay.
We'll start off with Robbie. Go ahead and give us your number 9.
All right, number 9 on my list is more of a recent WrestleMania, and it is WrestleMania 30. I remember just going into this WrestleMania feeling that it was going to be a big deal. It was the 30th anniversary. It was in New Orleans. New Orleans, of course, is a celebration city, a party city. You know, everything they do in New Orleans, good, bad, tragic, is a celebration. So, of course, WrestleMania is the biggest celebration in professional wrestling. And this was just a good, fun, and emotional show to watch. The opening segment with Hogan as the host, and then Austin and The Rock, the 3 big icons of their respective generations. And, of course, Hogan with his famous botch saying Silverdome.
The Silverdome brothers.
Silverdome, Hogan, not Silverdome. And Paul Heyman even corrected him the night after, which was freaking boss of Paul Heyman. And then, of course, the Ballad of Daniel Bryan, him beating Triple H and winning the triple threat match to become the WWE Heavyweight Champion. The Shield squashing the New Age Outlaws and Kane. You had Cesaro winning the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. John Cena and Bray Wyatt in a very unique match because, you know, you had John Cena like going for some of his moves and Bray Wyatt would do like the spider walk and everything, and it would throw John Cena off his game. Of course, this is the Mania where the streak came to an end, and for a while it was the most talked about thing because it was so so shocking. I can English, excuse me. I mean, my jaw dropped when it happened, and I did not even care for that AJ Lee title match that followed. I was just shocked that the streak came to an end. But in the end, Daniel Bryan, after everything he endured, he overcame the odds. He had an incredible WrestleMania moment, winning the championship. Michael Cole had a great call, you know, the Miracle on Bourbon Street. So it was a good, fun, emotional WrestleMania. Had a great ending, fitting for Daniel Bryan. And like we've said, had he not won and the streak ended, this would have been shitting on as the worst WrestleMania in history.
Yeah.
But luckily it wasn't. It was a good show. It was the very first Mania on the WWE Network, the first live Mania on the network. So that was something that made it special to me as well. And it was just a fun experience watching. And I was happy for Daniel Bryan that night.
Yeah, we've talked about this the whole series. If Daniel Bryan had not have won that title that night, there would have been riots. Terrible. Oh my goodness. Wait, can you imagine if Roman Reigns was the one to win? Yeah, just think about that.
Yikes.
That would have been crazy.
Oh no.
All right, so to avoid getting put on the list for a second time, Daniel, you can go next.
Thank you. I appreciate that. That's a good call by you. All right. So my number 9 on my list, I'm going with WrestleMania 23. This is a really good show, and there was a lot of really good matches on this show. I really liked the Money in the Bank ladder match. Went 24 minutes. You had Mr. Kennedy winning that. He, of course, defeated CM Punk, Randy Orton, Finlay, Matt Hardy, King Booker, Jeff Hardy, and then a lot of good spots in this match. Really high. One of the better Money in the Bank ladder matches in WrestleMania. It's definitely up there. Undertaker versus Batista.
Yes.
To me, this was the best match on the show. I mean, and one of Batista's best matches in his career. So these two really brought the best out in each other. Love this match. And then, of course, you had John Cena, Shawn Michaels. Really good championship match. Oh, man. These two tore the house down like you knew they would. Shawn Michaels, John Cena in the main event. What more could they do? And then, of course, I'm not forgetting the Battle of the Billionaire. Donald Trump versus Vince McMahon. And Vince, let me tell you, the Battle of the Billionaires, it was great. This is the greatest moment in my life. I've done a lot of big things. Trust me, a lot of big things. But WrestleMania 23, I took the worst Stone Cold Stunner ever. It was the worst, even worse than Linda. And Linda works for me now. So I could just ask Linda, who's worse, yours or mine? And she'll say, you, Donald. I'm like, yeah, you're right. Because I always do the worst. I'm the worst. So this is why WrestleMania 23, number 9. It's a great show. Really good show. So that's
Oh my
Mike,
gosh.
Mike said we cannot do any of these live streams without at least one Donald Trump.
that was the president.
Not at all.
President once again.
Not at all.
Wow, we got all the big guys.
Do you guys remember Trump clotheslining Vince and JR saying hostile
goodness.
takeover?
Oh my goodness.
A hostile
I've
takeover.
seen that.
That clothesline. My goodness.
Well, Donald Trump, what do you expect?
Yep, that's the president.
That was freaking
The
hilarious.
only president in the history of the United States to ever take the Stone Cold Stunner.
But
Terribly.
there's a reason why.
Oh gosh.
What a show. That's why it's number 9 on my list.
That's a great choice.
Thank
Oh,
you.
yeah, definitely a good underrated show.
Okay, Mike, you go ahead with your number 9.
All right, my number 9. Again, I might get a lot of heat for putting this one, but personally, because it's the first ever WrestleMania I watched, I put on WrestleMania 29. Again, I know this was not really that great of a show, but at the time, to me, there were still a couple exciting moments I found from this match. Again, it was the first Mania I ever watched, and this was a fun moment for Dan, since Dan, you got to go to see this show live in East Rutherford. But of course, there are a few things I remember from that night. You know, the Shield had their first ever WrestleMania match against Randy Orton, Sheamus, and Big Show. And yes, why it might not be that great of a match, it's still the Shield. You know, just fending off a bunch of veterans, and 2 future Hall of Famers probably, and Orton and Big Show. My match of the night I thought was CM Punk versus The Undertaker, which ended up being CM Punk's final WrestleMania match ever in WWE.
Yeah.
And then, even though, again, it was an okay match, I still enjoyed Triple H and Brock Lesnar. And again, I know no one gave a crap about this match, Rock and Cena, which I wouldn't go back and watch it again. But, you know, at the time for, you know, starting to watch the product, seeing these two be able to collide was pretty cool to see, though. But again, I wouldn't go out of my way to watch that match again. But at the time, for me, I enjoyed that. I enjoyed seeing these two go at it live. So that's why I put WrestleMania 29 as my number 9.
Can I say something about that match, seeing as how I was there live? And I just rewatched it too. My God, you're 2 of the all-time greats, and the best you could come up with is AA, counter, rock bottom, AA, counter into the rock bottom again, another rock bottom, another AA, kick out, finisher, kick out, finisher. It was literally like the same match as last year, yet it was somehow worse. Like the crowd, I was there. I remember we didn't give a shit.
Right,
and
yeah.
That ending was so boring. Look at the complete opposite from 29 to 30. Like the end. Daniel Bryan winning. Oh my God, what a moment. Cena winning, it just fell flat. Then they did the handshake. And what happened? I said, when they do that handshake, what did we do? We booed that out of the building. Oh.
Yeah,
My
hated that.
friend said it. Rock Cena 2 was basically you and your friend playing a WWE video game with infinite finishers. It was kick out, finisher, kick out, finisher, kick out. There was
no.
This is where they could have turned Cena heel. We talked about this like a while back. What they could have done was they could have had Cena go to desperate lengths to get the championship back and then do something heelish to beat The Rock. No handshake, no bullshit, no finisher, kick out, crap. That's a main event that I wish they would have changed. Because, I mean, that tainted the legacy of once in a lifetime.
It did,
yes.
Oh, they should have never coined the first one once in a lifetime if they were going to do it again.
They knew that was the plan the whole time. Then don't do it. You're right. That was stupid.
The first one was special, and then we heard they were doing another one. And I'm just like,
really?
Why? Once in a lifetime was fine.
From the beginning, because it tainted the legacy of once in a lifetime. And I loved once in a lifetime because I honestly thought they were never going to touch again.
That's all. Like, all they had to do was the next night on Raw, Cena come out, okay, yeah, I lost, whatever. And The Rock come out. That's when they could do the handshake. Hey, I have respect for you. Cool.
Sure.
Y'all didn't have to build it up for another year just to do the handshake at the end of the match. That was pretty pointless.
The crowd shitted on it anyway. So.
It did, right?
Good job. That worked.
Oh, that was terrible.
Oh, yes. Again, at the time for me, it was cool to see two go, but again, I wouldn't go my way to watch that match again. I watched once in a lifetime so much more already than that.
Yeah, that's a better match than the crowd actually gave.
It was a better match with better false finishes and kick outs for the finishers, you know?
Right. Anyway.
All right, so I think all of you guys have done your number 9, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm gonna give my number 9. My number 9 is WrestleMania 20, and this was this the first one I ever seen, or no, I believe 21 was the first one I ever seen. But this one was great as well. Cena's legend was born, of course, when he hoisted Big Show over his shoulders for that incredible AA. And at the time, it wasn't like they were overdoing it with, oh my God, he lifted up Big Show. Like, if he does it now, it's just like, it's Cena, of course. So, you know, they didn't overdo it because this was like one of the first times he ever did that. Won the U.S. title, had that fatal 4-way tag team championship match, which was just chaos everywhere, where Booker T and RVD retained their titles. We had a good match between Jericho and Christian. That love triangle angle with Trish Stratus, and she turned on Jericho after the match and everything. That backstab was classic. We had the Rock and Sock connection facing 3/4 of Evolution, and Randy Orton was able to pin Mick Foley here, which was a big win for him at the time. Of course, Eddie and Kurt, hell of a match. What more can we say? We talked about that a ton. And then that triple threat match between Triple H, Shawn Michaels, and Benoit, which was just 25 minutes of pure wrestling at its finest. Just a legendary matchup. So that's why that one is my number 9.
Not bad of a pick.
Good pick.
Spoiler alert, that's going to definitely be on my list. Where will it show up? Well, you'll just have to wait and see.
Awesome. So moving on, number 8. Number 8, let's go with Daniel because I'm not getting put on the list again.
He's scared now.
You're a good man. You're a good man.
All right, we're going with number 8. For my number 8 on this list, I got to go with another really good WrestleMania, WrestleMania 24. I really like this show. This was the first WrestleMania that I didn't see in its entirety for a while later, but of course I saw my first wrestling match ever off this show. Shawn Michaels versus Ric Flair in the legendary retirement match. So much emotion, so much drama. So I cannot, forego putting this WrestleMania on that list because without that match, who knows if I even become a fan of professional wrestling. Like, that was the match that made me say, I got to start watching this. But besides that match, there's also a lot of good on this show. Once again, I like the Money in the Bank ladder match. It had CM Punk winning it for the first out of his 2 times. Shelton Benjamin was in this, Chris Jericho, Carlito, MVP, Mr. Kennedy, and John Morrison. So a lot of good competition, back and forth action in this one. I like the Belfast Brawl to open the show between JBL and Finlay. That was a fun match.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Kind of forget about that one.
Like hardcore style match.
Yeah, it really was.
The triple threat I felt was good between Randy Orton, who defeated John Cena and Triple H. And going into this, guys, a lot of people didn't think Orton was going to walk out and retain. And it might. That was just. When it happened to, I like the way that they said it. Like Orton kind of just fell on Cena, and got the win, or maybe it was Cena. I think
he punted Triple H and then pinned Cena.
Yeah, it was shot. It was a good match, though. I really thought it was a good match. Floyd Mayweather Jr. defeating Big Show. That was actually turned out to be a fun no DQ match.
Yes,
you
didn't versus wrestler match, in my opinion.
It was good. I enjoyed it from start to finish. So good job by them. Then of course, really good. I don't hear a lot of people talking about Undertaker versus Edge. This was a really good main event. I really liked Undertaker versus Edge. One of his better.
Why talk about that? That's
I know. I mean, and that Edge's first main event at WrestleMania, so that was a big. You could tell, like he said, when he walked out, he had the goosebumps, the nerves. That was just a great moment for Edge too in his career. So good WrestleMania, in my opinion.
The actual main event, not there's 5 main events. No,
there ain't. There one
last match.
The main event.
Yes.
Thank you.
I hate when they do that and they like milk the shit out of the main event. And they say there's 3 main events or 4 main events.
Yes, I hate that too.
Every match is the main event.
No, CM Punk said it best. The last match is the main event.
Well, the main event.
Well, Punk, actually, there's like 8 main events. The whole show is the damn main event. Even the pre-show. But I'm going to call it the kickoff. I don't like pre-show. All right, so that's another great Mania.
Yes.
We'll go with Robbie. Go ahead and give your number 8.
All right, my number 8 is WrestleMania 28. Now, this was another special WrestleMania for me because after WrestleMania 24, I did not order 25, 26, or 27. For those 3, I was either working or I had midterms to prepare for, so I didn't bother to order them. But this was the first WrestleMania where I had just graduated college. I didn't have any midterms or work to worry about. So I ordered WrestleMania 28. The main reason being Rock and Cena in what was billed once in a lifetime, and then Taker and Triple H in the Hell in a Cell. Those were the selling points for me to order WrestleMania 28, and I got my money's worth. You know, the first WrestleMania I had ordered on pay-per-view in a while, and I thought it was a great show from start to finish. Now, I almost flipped my shit when it kicked off with Daniel Bryan losing in 18 seconds because I thought that was a joke, you know.
Yeah, it was.
But it worked out. It actually really did.
It did, yes.
Yeah.
It did work out for him, yes, but like when it first happened, I was like, I was really looking forward to watching him and Sheamus fight for the title, and then it ends in 18 seconds, and I'm like, what the hell? Like, I was ready to flip my shit, man. I was so pissed off that they did not get another match.
I thought that was a mistake. Like, why are you doing this? 18 seconds, really? Come on.
Oh yes.
But yeah, no. But look at where it got Daniel Bryan from there. When you actually look at it, that's somewhat of a blessing. But the rest of the part was great. You know, I felt like Kane and Randy Orton had a great big man match that no one talks about. I thought it was
solid. It was a good match.
Yeah, it was decent.
Yeah.
You had Big Show, Cody Rhodes. That was a solid Intercontinental title match. The women's tag team match was, you know, fun, what it was. Then you had Hell in a Cell, the end of an era match. What an incredible match that was.
Wow.
Storytelling, the emotion, the performance. Awesome match. Match of the year, in my opinion. You had Team Teddy, Team Johnny tag match. That was a good, solid match. It was fun. And then you had the WWE Championship match. Punk and Jericho, hell of a wrestling match. You know, Jericho trying to really get under Punk's skin because John Laurinaitis made that stipulation. If he got counted out or DQ'd, he'd lose the championship. Jericho was just great as a dick heel. He's going, how's your father? Or how's your sister?
That was great.
Punk.
Say it with me, Mike. Your father's a drunk. Your father's a drunk.
Yes.
And then, of course, the awesome once-in-a-lifetime main event between Rock and John Cena. The perfect atmosphere, the perfect setting. It had that Rock Hogan feel from the beginning, which is a great show with The Rock conquering John Cena. John Cena sitting on his ass looking all depressed after he lost.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Oh,
You had Flo Rida wrap The Rock to the ring. You had MDK wrap Cena to the ring. So
Yeah,
it
MDK.
felt like a WrestleMania, you know, like
It did.
WrestleMania.
Great choice.
That's why 28 is number 8 on my list. The first one I ordered in a few years. Great show. I got my money's worth. Hell in a Cell was the match of the night. It reminded me why I love to order WrestleMania.
Awesome. That's a great choice. Man. All right. I'm gonna give my number 8 and then I'll go to Mike and give his number 8. My number 8. I don't know how you guys are gonna feel about this. WrestleMania X is actually on my list.
That's a good show.
This was a very good show. I wish I probably had it higher now that I'm thinking about it. But I need to go back and watch it as well, like I said, so I can appreciate the older WrestleManias. But of course, this one had that ladder match between Shawn and Razor Ramon, you know, Scott Hall, which was a very revolutionary match, you know, for the time in which they had it. We had Bret Hart doing double duty and not only beating his brother Owen Hart in a 20-minute wrestling clinic, but going on in the main event to defeat Yokozuna, who had not only Mr. Fuji, but Jim Cornette in his corner in the main event to win the WWF Championship. These matches alone, and then there was like a Lundra Blaze match with, I think, Leilani Kai. I hope I'm saying her name right. It was an all right match. But just, you know, the story with Bret Hart and Lex Luger, I think they had like the whole Royal Rumble thing where they like both got eliminated at the same time or something happened in the Royal Rumble. And they both would have had to win 2 matches in order to, you know, get to the main event. I think Lex lost his match against Yokozuna.
Yeah, he got DQ'd.
Yeah, he got DQ'd. Okay. And then Bret Hart went on to beat Yokozuna in the main event. So that was it was a pretty good show. I really did enjoy it.
And don't forget, I don't know if you mentioned this, Gene, but don't forget Bret Hart and Owen Hart in that incredible opener for the title. Not for the title, opener.
Yep. He had to do double duty. He had to face his brother 20 minutes, had to go toe-to-toe with him, and then go to the main event. So that was just an incredible night for him overall.
Mm-hmm.
Really good show.
Yep. So Mike, go ahead and give us your number 8.
All right, my number 8 was another fairly recent WrestleMania 31. I give this one a lot of credit because the build going into this Mania was pretty weak, and I was definitely worried about this one. But I think what we got, most of it, I actually really enjoyed. So we got Daniel Bryan winning the Intercontinental title in the first match on the main show, which was a really solid ladder match. We had Orton versus Rollins, of course. Even though Seth lost, though, my favorite moment of that match was still that sick RKO that Randy Orton hit on him. That was just unreal. When Rollins went for the curb stomp, I still missed that move. Wish they would allow him to still use that. Despite the fact that I think the wrong person won this match, it was still a great, iconic match to watch. Triple H versus Sting. Later we had a couple other matches in between. We had Wyatt and Undertaker, which they were okay. Cena and Rusev was all right. Then we had that segment with The Rock coming back with Ronda Rousey appearing at WrestleMania. I thought that was a really fun moment. And again, even though the bill was not really too great for the match, Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns was still a pretty fun physical match. I thought it was good, and it had us also kind of wondering, again, now we probably think Roman probably would have beat Brock unless if this didn't happen, which was Seth Rollins cashing in his Money in the Bank contract. Even though he pinned Reigns, again, Brock was still in the picture, keep in mind. Who has the guts without anybody else's help to run out there and try to cash in Money in the Bank? And Brock Lesnar is someone you got to get through. So I gave, despite the fact that he at times was a little bit of a chicken shit heel a little bit, at times, you got to give them a lot of credit there. Would they really have someone cash in with Brock Lesnar in the picture?
Yeah,
that's true.
That took a lot of balls for him to just go out there and cash it in on him.
Oh, yes.
Him and Reigns in the match. Two guys that are not no pushovers. He was just hey, screw it. I want this title. This is the main event. I'm
Triple
going
threat.
out there. Triple threat. Let's do it.
Yes.
What a moment.
Oh, yes.
Man.
Yeah, so that was great. I believe everybody gave their number 8 now.
Yes.
We can move. I'm not trying to make the list again, okay?
See?
All right. I'm being extra cautious right now. So let's move on to our number 7. And we'll start off with Robbie. Go ahead and give your number 7.
All right, number 7 was mentioned recently on Daniel's list, literally not too long ago. It is WrestleMania 24. Like I said, that was the last WrestleMania I ordered on pay-per-view before 28, and that was a great WrestleMania. In my opinion, I think it was the last great WrestleMania for a few years before 30 and 31, before 28 as well. But 24, I have 24 on DVD, and this is going to be a theme you're going to see with my next few picks. I have them all on DVD. I've watched them again and again. That's why I've ranked them as high as I have. 24, like I said, one of the last great WrestleManias for a while before 28, excuse me. And just a lot of great stuff on the show. Belfast Brawl, like we were saying, was a fun hardcore style match. Money in the Bank was a great match with CM Punk winning the first of his 2 Money in the Bank matches. You had Batista versus, as William Regal would call him, Umanga.
Umanga.
I don't know why he called him Umanga, but that was a solid match. Kane squashing Chavo Guerrero for the ECW championship, if you guys remember.
Yeah.
Right.
You had the triple threat for the WWE championship. That was a great fun match with Orton retaining. You had Money Mayweather versus The Big Show. That was a real fun celebrity versus wrestler match with, Big Show being the heel, Mayweather being the face. But then they did a double turn, actually, with Mayweather having to resort to cheap, dirty tactics to beat The Big Show. Yeah, and then, of course, you had the main event between Edge and The Undertaker, which was a great WrestleMania match. One of Edge's best matches, if not the best match he's had. It's the Rated R Superstar in the main event versus the Dead Man. Somebody's undefeated streak has to go because Edge had a little bit of an undefeated streak at WrestleMania as well.
Oh, so I remember
that. He did.
So just a great WrestleMania. Of course, Ric Flair's last WrestleMania, that emotional match with Shawn Michaels. You got Charlotte in the crowd, David Flair, Reed Flair, rest in peace. So just that emotion, that match itself, it was beautiful. And the emotional post-match, of course, was beautiful. I mean, the iconic "I'm sorry, I love you." That's something you see again and again.
You'll see that for decades.
Yeah, great WrestleMania. And it was the first WrestleMania to have a Kardashian as their host.
Oh my God!
Kardashian was the host.
I actually forget that.
I actually was happy to see Kim Kardashian because I was a fan of hers back then, but now.
Yeah. Everybody hates her now.
I'm sorry, but yeah, no. Number 7 is WrestleMania 24, a great WrestleMania, underrated in my opinion. And it was in Orlando, where this year's WrestleMania is going to take place. So
That's right.
yeah, the biggest mania under the sun. That's what the tagline of it was, I believe.
Oh yeah, now it's what, the Ultimate Thrill Ride?
Yes.
Yeah.
And now Charlotte's going to be performing there.
It's coming full circle.
Yeah, it is.
Wow.
Crazy. All right, that's a great choice. Mike, go ahead and give your number 7.
All right, my number 7 has already been mentioned. WrestleMania 28 as well. I enjoyed this because it was one of the first WrestleManias that I didn't watch live, that I actually watched on DVD. I remember Dan actually gave it to me. Definitely, he kept saying, watch this one, you will not be disappointed, and I was not. Again, I was disappointed again with the 18-second loss to Daniel Bryan, but seeing how it all played out, it pretty much made him that ultimate underdog to win the title at WrestleMania 30. Of course, I enjoyed, the other matches. Kane and Orton was all right. Big Show and Cody Rhodes, okay. All the other stuff in between. But, of course, the other 3 big matches I enjoyed was first the end of the era match, and I can't keep talking about it, that crazy kick out from the Sweet Chin Music to the pedigree. I still do not know to this day how on earth Taker kicked out of that. That was unreal. I mean, of course, the year before, too, at 27, whenever was Taker kicked out of a tombstone by Triple H.
That was a great spot. I love that.
I mean, yes, like that, but like 2 of like the most deadliest finishing maneuvers known, and Taker kicks out of them. I'm like, unreal. I couldn't even believe he kicked out of that.
And Jim Ross on commentary, it elevated this match. JR was the best.
Oh, yes. Without him, I don't know how much more energy could have been to this match at all. But, of course, and as Robbie said before, CM Punk versus Y2J, which is Jericho's being just this huge jerk trying to get every ounce of anger out of Punk.
Yeah.
Your father's a drunk! Your father's a drunk! Give me the head, Punk! He was just like, you can really beat the hell out of me, and I won't care because your father's a drunk, your sister has some substance abuse as well. That was just a really epic feud. I love that. And of course, as we talked about earlier, once in a lifetime, which should have only happened one time, John Cena and The Rock going after, and I just still love that just abrupt finish with Cena, doing the imitating The Rock, getting ready to do the people's elbow, and The Rock just jumps up and just slams down with the Rock Bottom. What a sick way to finish it, especially in The Rock's hometown of Miami. So, yep, my number 7 is WrestleMania 28.
Nice. Good choice.
Yes.
Very, very good pick.
All right, I'm going to go, and then, Daniel, I haven't forgot you, okay?
You better not.
You're good, okay? I'm just going to give mine real quick. My number 7 is WrestleMania 3. And strictly, I mean, not saying it wasn't a good show or anything, but strictly for nostalgia purposes is why this is on my list. You just have legends and Hall of Famers sprinkled all over this card. You got Harley Race, he faced Junkyard Dog. You got Steamboat and Savage, a great match for the IC Championship. Honky Tonk Man Jake Roberts, Roddy Piper and Adrian Adonis. Just like crazy matches with all these guys who were just great workers overall. The Hart Foundation and Danny Davis versus the British Bulldogs and Tito Santana. And who could forget Hulk Hogan versus Andre the Giant? That iconic match where we see it every WrestleMania video package to open it up, where Hulk Hogan hulked up and lifted the 525-pound Andre the Giant and power slammed him. Who could forget that? That's a moment we'll never stop seeing as long as the WWE is in business. So this was definitely a great WrestleMania, a revolutionary one, considering it was the 3rd installment of it, and that's why it made my list.
Very good pick.
Yes.
I feel like without that WrestleMania and how it really took WrestleMania to the next level, I feel like without it, WrestleMania wouldn't be as popular as it is today. It wouldn't be as such a grand event as it is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
sure.
I agree,
definitely.
93,000 or however, there were a lot of people in that stadium.
93,000, yes. 93,000.
Incredible. I mean, you just look at that when they do the wide shot. It's just like, this is what WrestleMania is all about.
Exactly.
Incredible.
If I can say one more thing about Hogan and Andre, do you guys remember when Hogan came back to WWF and he was in the NWO and he was cutting that promo and he was talking about the fans? He's like, we've been through it all, brothers. I mean, we took Andre the Giant, all 700 pounds of him. And JR was like, he's exaggerating, 700 pounds.
I love JR.
Yes.
JR is hilarious.
But in
All
other
right.
news, I'm sorry, Gene,
Oh no, you're go ahead. Go ahead.
it's been announced and retweeted by Stephanie McMahon that Pitbull is going to be performing at WrestleMania.
No,
Crickets.
I hope not.
No, he is going to. It says it right here. I'm
Oh
looking at it.
no.
Fuck.
Can I
Because
just,
I'm ready to go.
Why? We have 13. Oh, God.
can I just say
Oh, my
something?
goodness.
Damn you for getting that theme song stuck in my head now.
I swear these performances are probably going to last longer than Brock Lesnar versus Goldberg.
Probably.
That's a good point. That is.
They got to fill up the time somehow.
Yeah, because it's not like you have 13 matches or whatever.
Right.
Oh, yeah, like,
Not at all.
I even asked Alex Man yesterday, would you like to see a 2-day WrestleMania since they're doing so many matches in the future?
Oh, God. 2-day WrestleMania. I'm burnt out from just thinking about it.
I'll just leave it at that.
All right.
Maybe-
Daniel, I haven't forgot you. Go ahead. Give your number 7.
Well, my number 7 is a WrestleMania that Robbie talked about earlier. It's WrestleMania 12, which I also, like he said, I think is an underrated show. Besides the match that everybody talks about, the 60-minute Iron Man match between Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart for the WWF Championship, which was a really good match. You also had The Undertaker taking on Diesel, what I thought was one of The Undertaker's better matches at WrestleMania. In my opinion, I think this was his first really good match at WrestleMania because for the first couple of Manias, his matches really weren't nothing to rave about. He took on Jimmy Snuka. That was all right. Jake the Snake. That was okay. Giant Gonzalez. We're not going to talk about that.
No way.
No.
King Kong Bundy. Not going to talk about that.
Nope.
Yeah, no. We're going to talk about this. Was a really good match, though. And Diesel, playing the heel role, was better for him. And I just thought him and Taker, they went out there for roughly 17 minutes and had a really good match. We had Stone Cold versus Savio Vega, solid undercard match. Loved the backlot brawl between Roddy Piper and Goldust. Just something Attitude Era-esque, early Attitude Era-esque stuff that we saw that would lay the groundwork for what we would see later on in the Attitude Era. And then the opening 6-man tag, solid stuff between Vader, Owen Hart, and the British Bulldog, defeating Ahmed Johnson, Jake Roberts, and Yokozuna. So all in all, really good, enjoyable WrestleMania. So that's why it's my number 7 pick, WrestleMania 12.
Great pick.
Good, underrated WrestleMania.
Yes, it is.
It is
make
more than
my
just
list.
a one-match show. There's some fun stuff on here, too, that you'll enjoy. So definitely worth watching. Yep.
Another one that's an honorable mention for me. I wish I could have. It's so hard to put 10 WrestleManias on there when there's like 1,000 of them.
Indeed.
But yeah, definitely a great choice.
Shawn Michaels coming down from the rafters, man.
Oh yeah, they still show that too.
Yep.
Yeah, one of the most iconic entrances in WrestleMania history. Just Shawn coming down from his, and thank God it worked. Thank God nothing went wrong with the.
God.
Look at what happened 3 years later with Owen Hart, and that was
tragic.
Thank God Shawn Michaels didn't. I mean, Vince McMahon, kudos to him. He tested it himself before he let Shawn get on there. So.
Yeah, that was man. Thank God that went well. If that would have happened at WrestleMania, not saying Owens wasn't tragic, but if that would have been at WrestleMania,
oh
I would
jeez,
have left a black eye on WrestleMania.
dude, that WrestleMania would have been blacklisted. Oh my goodness. But yeah, thank God that went well.
indeed.
All right. So moving on to number 6, right? Everybody gave it a number 7. I'm just making sure. Moving on to number 6, and we'll start off with Robbie. Go ahead and give your number 6.
All right, so my number 6 pick is one that Daniel also briefly mentioned. It is WrestleMania 23.
You did it. Ha! You did it this time. My number 6 is 23.
Oh my God.
You stole the gimmick.
Oh my God, here we go again. Okay, so yeah, number 6 on my list is WrestleMania 23. Another good, fun, underrated show from the opener, which was the Money in the Bank match with Mr. Kennedy won. Yes, there was Kane versus Great Khali. The less I say about it, the better. You had the sleeper hit of the night, Chris Benoit and MVP. United States. Did I say States? United States.
United States.
They had a better match than what was expected of them.
Yes. because to me this was like the match where MVP really like rose to the occasion. He really proved himself against a veteran of Benoit's caliber. Real good match, underrated. Batista and Undertaker, great world title match, one of Batista's best matches.
Yep.
The Undertaker win the world title for the first time since WrestleMania 13. So that was great. 10 years later, he wins the world title. You had the Lumberjill match between Melina and Ashley. It wasn't what it was for the women's title. I did like the cat fight at the end, Lumberjill Mania as
Lumberjill Pandemonium.
Yeah, as JBL coined it. You had, of course, Shawn Michaels and John Cena for the WWE Championship, and like you said, Gene, Shawn Michaels out wrestled John Cena in that match. It was just an awesome main event. And then, of course, my fellow Americans, the match that was the big selling point of this match was Donald, the President of the United States.
The greatest match ever.
Versus Vince McMahon.
I loved it. You say Vince bald. Bzzz.
That was not wrong. That was right.
It was all right. It was great.
Yeah.
And unlike The Undertaker, I am still undefeated at WrestleMania.
The only man, the only president, undefeated on the grandest stage. It happened.
But it was a good, fun match. All Trump impersonations aside, it was a good, fun match with Bobby Lashley fighting Umaga. I mean, they were the two rising big guys at the time, so it was fitting that they were each chosen as like an enforcer. Overall, good, fun WrestleMania, underrated WrestleMania. The tagline was all grown up. So throughout the show, you saw those commercials of like the younger super. And then they grew up. So that was great. There was something special about that WrestleMania, and it was in Detroit. I have a couple friends that were there live for that show. Another good, fun, underrated WrestleMania. And I had to say it. Yes, Donald Trump is still undefeated at WrestleMania. So disrespected all to The Undertaker, but it's the truth. Snooki, Michael Cole, and Donald Trump each have a WrestleMania victory.
Oh my God, Michael Cole did beat King. Oh,
Scary to think.
the coal miners. Oh God, the memories. No. Okay. Yeah, definitely. That's why it's my number 6 as well. You said it best. That whole WrestleMania. I rewatched that one probably more than any WrestleMania in history. I just loved it. Remember JBL in the Money in the Bank match when Mr. Kennedy came out and he was, you know how he used to pause after he said the first Kennedy? He was like, hold on, wait a minute. And that was just a funny moment. But yeah, that whole card was just incredible.
Yep.
So yeah, I guess that's why it's our number 6. So Daniel, you go ahead and give your number 6 pick.
Number 6. All right, here we go. My number 6 is a WrestleMania that has popped up on these lists before. And it is a really, really good WrestleMania that yielded 2 of the all-time great WrestleMania matches. And, of course, I'm talking about WrestleMania X, where it, as the tagline said, it was 10 years in the making. The 10th WrestleMania, of course, it was a tough time for the WWF. You had a lot of stars that left the company. You had Hogan, Flair left, Jake the Snake was leaving. So this was in, the new generation. And, it was an era that, was kind of a downtime for the company from like 93 to about, they didn't really pick back up till late 97 with the birth of the Attitude Era. But, this particular show was a really strong effort from the WWF. You had Owen Hart versus Bret Hart, the best opening match in WrestleMania history. What can you say? These two went out there and stole the show. This was a really great match. I thought the Falls Count Anywhere match was fun between Randy Savage versus Crush, and wasn't this the last? Was this the last match that Macho Man ever had in the WWF?
I believe so. Yes.
It might have. Wow, that's crazy. And we never. It's a shame we never saw him come back.
Wish we could have.
That one will always sit. Doesn't sit right with me. But we had a London Blaze versus Lonnie Kai. All right, women's championship match. And then you, of course, had Razor Ramon versus Shawn Michaels in the epic ladder match for the Undisputed Intercontinental Championship. 18 minutes of pure adrenaline, high stakes, just 2 of the best going in there. Michaels, Ramon utilizing the ladder, but not overutilizing it. They just told a great wrestling match story and one of the best ladder matches of all time. If you haven't seen it, what are you doing? Go out there and watch it. And then Bret Hart versus Yokozuna, solid World Heavyweight Championship match. Of course, Roddy Piper, the late Roddy Piper, as the special guest referee, and Bret Hart. This was his crowning moment. His big, he won the WWF Championship before, but we all know what happened at WrestleMania IX and that whole fiasco. To me, this was the WWF going, okay, where are we going to go with Luger? Where are we going to go with Bret Hart? Because there were 2 championship matches on this show, and by the end of it, Bret was the guy to lead the new generation down the line. So, yeah, crowning moment for Bret Hart, really good WrestleMania. And it's in Madison Square Garden, so what more could you love about it?
Yeah.
Yep.
This was definitely on my list. Definitely a great WrestleMania.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I have to agree with you.
Daniel,
And of course, the greatest opening match of all time. Bret Hart and Owen Hart.
And I gotta, you know what, Daniel? I gotta agree with you. Let's have that Pitbull performance on the pre-show.
And I get a retweet. Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Seriously, put that garbage on the pre-show.
About Mania 10, but I also agree that performance needs to be on the pre-show.
Amen.
They're having another performer too.
If you're gonna do it on the main show, do it after there's a match that just really do it after one of the matches you know is gonna entertain the shit out of us, so we can what's the word? Re-energize or something.
Yes.
Yeah.
Don't have it too long. Honestly, one thing I don't like about WWE is they're doing too much filler. And yes, I know it's WrestleMania. Yes, I know you go all out. You have special appearance performances and whatnot, but you got a 13 match show.
Right.
We don't need this.
Yes.
That's crazy. All right. That's a great choice. So, Mike, go ahead and give your number 6 because I don't want to forget you and get put on the list.
Oh, yeah. My number 6 is also a WrestleMania that was mentioned before already by a couple of you guys already. It's WrestleMania 24. This was another very enjoyable WrestleMania for me to watch. That's when CM Punk won his first Money in the Bank ladder match, first of 2. I also did enjoy the match between JBL and Finlay to even start off the show. I thought that was a really nice brawl. The triple threat match as well between Orton, Triple H, and John Cena. That was a really nice match. And I also enjoyed Mayweather and Big Show. Like I said before, a double turn had Mayweather pulling off some heel tactics to beat Show. Of course, how could we all forget the HBK versus Ric Flair retirement match? Is that iconic moment? I'm sorry, I love you. The tough moment that Shawn Michaels had to go through. He knew what he had to do. Even you know how much he cared about Ric Flair. He knew it was something he had to do. Ric Flair kept saying, "Come on, put it up. Bring the showstopper here, man." And then, of course, the main event with Edge and The Undertaker. Again, another really great match. Edge's first ever WrestleMania main event. And as we said before, they both had undefeated streaks, but also, I believe, before that match, I believe Undertaker had never beaten Edge before also. So there were quite a few stakes also in that match.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stories.
He had beaten Edge and Christian in tag matches, but I think he never beat Edge in a singles match.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think that's how it went.
Yeah.
That's another great choice. I wish I would have put that one on my list, man. I watched that one a lot too. I used to have it on DVD. It was a great match.
Kind of underrated, you know.
It is.
I would forget about it.
I would put it at number 11 if I had to rank it.
Yeah.
Because
Daniel
it's that good.
Number 11. Remember when we did the Mania matches? He gave himself an extra spot, which I never got a chance to give myself a spot.
Yeah, I did do that.
But you know what? When he mentioned the ladder match between Shawn and Razor, and I'm just gonna say this real quick before we move on. You know, when he mentioned WrestleMania 10, he got me thinking of this. Where's that clip? Yep, Sound Style's about to strike. But I'm trying to remember where.
Chico, please, come on. I know what you do. You get it to your big buddy. Big Daddy, come on, wait.
Oh, I love that.
Oh,
Oh my God.
I love that rock segment.
Sometimes the clips are a little slow, so that's why they don't work on point.
I know, right? You gotta put them on the list.
I want to do.
I'm gonna put Pitbull on the list.
Please do.
Do it.
Put Pitbull on the list.
Pitbull, Flo, whatever the hell, Florida. You just made the list.
You know what happens when you take up too much time on WrestleMania?
Yes.
Because it's called WrestleMania, not a shitty musical act mania.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yep, they made the list.
It's like you get the worst people to perform at WrestleMania and just hype it up like it's the greatest thing ever.
Remember, guys, believe in yourself, because one day, if you believe in yourself,
I believe I can fly.
just picture Foley. He's about to miss.
The table. Oh my God, that's great.
And Daniel, your friend mentioned that in the in your SmackDown review, that it's in the WWE 2K14 cutscene.
What? The what? Mick Foley?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Go like 30 years WrestleMania, and that's one of the cutscenes in missing the table.
That was so bad. Foley should not have been in that.
No.
Oh, that was
God.
embarrassing.
All right, guys, we have made it to our top 5 now. We have gone through 10 through 6, and now we're in our top 5. This was very hard, at least for me, coming up with the top 5 and just placing them. So we'll kick it off with Mike. Go ahead and give your number 5.
Okay, so yes, I agree. These last 5. Well, 2 to 5 to me was a little hard to place. 1, I had no doubt about where I went with number 1, but my number 5 is the earliest WrestleMania that I've ever gotten able to go back and watch, and that's WrestleMania 21. This was a pretty good WrestleMania as well. I mean, it's even said in the research I did the other day too, just to clarify a few things as well. But this WrestleMania, the first half of the show, like to the middle, it was really good. The second half wasn't quite as good, but it was still okay. Matches I can remember that I enjoyed was Rey Mysterio versus Eddie Guerrero. They had a really great match.
Yes.
Edge winning his first ever Money in the Bank ladder match in the first ever Money in the Bank ladder match, actually, keep in mind as well. So that was a big moment for Edge as well. The match between HBK and Kurt Angle, which I believe probably was the match of the night for that show. And of course, again, despite them having not amazing but good matches, that was night also where John Cena and Batista each won their first ever world titles that night. Again, love them or hate them, you gotta respect all the work that they did over their years for WWE, and Cena still continues to do. So that's why I'm going with WrestleMania 21 as my number 5.
That's a great choice.
Yes.
Spoiler alert, that might be showing up on my list.
Same here.
All right. We'll go ahead with Daniel. Go ahead and give your number 5.
Oh, crap. Well, mine's also WrestleMania 21 because this is a really, really good show. I hate to take the thunder, steal Mike's thunder, but I really love WrestleMania 21. To me, what was the best match between Kurt Angle and Shawn Michaels, man, did they just tear the house down. This is one of my favorite matches to go back and watch. 2 of the best of all time going in there and having a clinic for almost half an hour. Man, was this amazing. To The Undertaker versus Randy Orton. Really good Undertaker match. Underrated Undertaker match.
Very underrated.
Yes. You had, like Mike said, the Money in the Bank ladder match. A really good Money in the Bank ladder match. Rey Mysterio versus Eddie. Great, really good way to open up the show of WrestleMania. Cena winning his first world title and Batista winning his first world title. Big moments right there. So yeah, just up and down a really good WrestleMania card. Really good.
I'm gonna stooge myself off. Okay, I know I haven't given my number 5 yet, but this is number 4, WrestleMania 21. Since we're talking about it, I might as well just say it because you guys put it best. This was a great show. Edge winning Money in the Bank, Eddie and Rey, of course. Cena winning his first title, Batista. We've talked about it. This was a great show. Definitely something I enjoyed. But we're still on number 5, so I'm just going to give mine real quick, and then we'll go to Robbie. My number 5 is a WrestleMania I just went back and rewatched the other day and actually did a review of it on Nerd Coalition's channel. Your friend Nerd Coalition, Daniel, you introduced me to him. Yeah, so shout out to him. It's WrestleMania 18. And this was a pretty good WrestleMania for me because just the whole show was interesting. Like RVD and Regal put on a very good show to open up the show. That DDP and Christian match was hilarious. The Hardcore Championship shenanigans the whole night. Oh my goodness! That was just crazy. From the Hurricane coming in on the rope. And then Molly Holly smacked her with a frying pan.
And Christian smacked her with the door.
Christian smacked her with the door that had the 2 sections on it. And
Yeah.
Christian won the title after losing the DDP and throwing that tantrum, so he was happy again. And then
who wins it back?
And Maven in the end, who came in the night as champion, rolled him up from a taxi cab and he got the title back. It was just freaking hilarious.
Hey, imagine you rolled him up, feet on the taxi cab seats, feet on the seats.
Feet on the seats. Seat break instead of rope break. We had Kurt Angle and Kane, who actually put on a surprisingly good match. This was a pretty good match, very underrated. Taker and Flair in that freaking bloodbath where Arn Anderson tried to help out Ric Flair, but it didn't help because Taker is just a freaking beast. And, of course, Triple H and Chris Jericho in the main event, which was a very good match as well, when Jericho had Stephanie by his side, which I still go back and look, and that's very, very weird considering their interactions nowadays and, you know, Stephanie being married to Triple H, and it just looks weird. But yeah, this was definitely a great WrestleMania.
Nice.
Interesting pick, yeah.
Yeah, very interesting. I know it's kind of weird. I'm sure.
I mean, it's our opinions. That's what matters, and we just respect our opinions. It's an interesting pick because I was gonna put 18, but in my opinion, like 18 started off really well and this went downhill. The only thing in the second half that was memorable was Rock and Hogan. Everything else before Rock and Hogan was really well. The first half was really good. Intercontinental title match was good. The European title match was the sleeper hit. Hardcore match was fun. Kane and Kurt Angle was good. Taker and Flair was great. Edge and Booker T was solid. Austin and Hall was decent. So it was good. And then after that, I felt like it went downhill until it got to Hogan and Rock.
Yeah, that Hogan Rock match was iconic, man.
Yeah.
It's, man. Oh my, just the matchup itself, like.
You know, I'm just saying, like, to me,
that probably should have ended it.
Yeah, it should have. That was a mistake.
Yeah.
Just the magnitude of that match. It should have just ended the show.
That's what WrestleMania is about.
Yes.
Yeah, it is.
Card structure, very important.
Man, just that. I'm sure that sold the pay-per-view itself. Just having that match.
Did.
But yeah, so that's my number 5. Robbie, you go ahead and give your number 5, and we'll move on to number 4.
All right, Mike, Daniel, are you guys listening?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Coming in at number 5 is WrestleMania 22.
Ah, so close.
Ooh.
So close.
Very.
22, big time. Another really good underrated WrestleMania. From the you had Kane and Big Show as tag champs in the opener against Carlito and Chris Masters. Good solid opener. Real good Money in the Bank match with Ric Flair getting knocked off the ladder. RVD making his return and winning Money in the Bank. And of course, we all know he goes on to cash it at ECW One Night Stand that year.
Yep.
Had Edge and Mick Foley, the great hardcore match, one of my favorites, just a bloodbath. You had a good solid United States Championship match between Chris Benoit and JBL. You also had you had Booker T and Sharmell versus the Boogeyman. It did what it needed to do. Boogeyman beating Sharmell. Beating my bad. But you also had a really good women's championship match between Trish Stratus and Mickie James, with of course Mickey's famous grab, if you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, we all know. Oh yeah.
Oh yes.
Taker and Mark Henry, that was a solid casket match. Really good no-holds-barred match between Shawn Michaels and Vince McMahon. The triple threat match for the World Championship was a good, fun match, but it was so short, Rey Mysterio winning the championship, I was so happy for him. You had a Playboy pillow fight between Tori Wilson and Candice Michelle. I almost said Candice LeRae, excuse me.
Isn't that Luke Gallows' wife?
No, that's Mrs. Johnny Gargano.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I should know that.
And then, of course, you had a really good underrated main event between John Cena and Triple H, where the fans legit turned on John Cena and Triple H told John Cena to suck it. So that was just,
of course,
another good underrated WrestleMania, good fun throughout the whole show. And if there's one match that I could go back and watch again and again, it's the freaking hardcore match. That match was just awesome.
Yeah, it was.
Probably started the show that night.
Yep.
That was great. That's a great choice. I had that at my number 10, but it was definitely a slept on.
Has anybody seen the picture of the ramp?
Yeah, I just took a peek at it. Yeah.
Yep.
Gee.
Imagine John Cena trying to run down that.
Daniel, did you see it, or are you waiting until Mania?
No, I saw it.
I'll see it.
Wait, no. Imagine JBL Texas two-stepping down that. The whole thing on the pre-show.
Wow.
Trick Bradshaw tumbling down the ramp.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
That is a long ramp, you guys.
It is.
It's a
Taker's
long fall.
entrance is gonna take an hour.
Oh no!
No, you know what's gonna happen?
Can we give him that moving ring?
No, you know what's gonna happen? They're gonna ride on that stupid thing they were riding on at the Rumble.
Oh my God! I didn't even realize they were doing that. They were getting to the ring mighty fast.
It's like, wow, he's here.
That is
okay. Well,
that
that
is
was quick.
Dude, it feels like WrestleMania. It feels like 24 with the look and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
I'm
Can't
excited
wait for that.
I'm excited to see the finished product. If it has like a roller coaster, that's crazy.
that's
Yeah,
gonna be.
that'd be incredible.
Wow.
All right, so are we? I think we're moving on to number 4, right?
Yes.
All right, I stooged myself off and gave Mania 21, so I'm gonna leave it up to you guys. Mike, we'll start with you. Go ahead and give your number 4.
Okay, numbers 2 to 4 are WrestleManias that I still have to go back and watch, but based off of the research and what you guys have said, I had to get higher rate these. My number 4 is WrestleMania 10 indeed. As we've said plenty of times, the night that probably Bret Hart really took over and defined himself as the guy of the new era, pretty much. He had his opening match between his own brother, Owen, which is probably, as you guys say, the greatest opening match to WrestleMania of all time. We had that really great, iconic Intercontinental title ladder match between HBK and Razor Ramon. It was Randy Savage's last match against Crush in a Falls Count Anywhere match, I believe it was. And then, of course, we ended it with Bret Hart again defeating Yokozuna for the title. So overall, again, I would like to watch it, but definitely a great WrestleMania. It's written out on paper. So WrestleMania 10 is my number 4.
Yeah.
Great choice. I think we've all had it on our list, or I think we all did. I know I had it on mine, so that was definitely a great WrestleMania in my opinion as well. Robbie, go ahead and give your number 4. Daniel, I haven't forgot you, okay? Do not put me on that list again. I don't want double duty on the list.
Number 4 on my list is WrestleMania 31. The WrestleMania I was at in person. An awesome WrestleMania, like Mike said. This had shit built. This was one of the weakest built WrestleManias, but the show itself delivered. And going into it, I was concerned because this is my first WrestleMania live in person. I do not want it to be a shit show, and they delivered big time. From the opening match, I talked about WrestleMania 31 in my favorite moments. When I shared my favorite WrestleMania moments, so I'm not gonna talk too much about it. You had a great opener for the Intercontinental Championship, which was Daniel Bryan's last WrestleMania. So I got to see his last WrestleMania the year after he had that incredible world title win. So that meant a lot.
That's true.
Yeah.
RKO, of course. One of the best RKOs out of nowhere. Sting and Triple H. I didn't say this last time. I thought it was the match of the night. I loved it with DX and the NWO going at it. And
That was hilarious.
Yes, it was.
I think Sting should have won.
He should have.
He should have. I mean, he said that he decided he didn't win because he thought that was going to be his last match. Now, I respect Sting for being a true old school veteran, but I still think he should have won because, like I said, Donald Trump, Michael Cole, Snooki, they all have a WrestleMania win, but Sting doesn't.
Nope.
Not at all.
Oh my gosh.
The women's tag match was a good solid match. Rusev and Cena was a very good United States Championship match. And I felt bad for Lana when she got knocked off the apron. I wanted to run down to the apron and help her.
Lana, are you okay?
Yeah. Nah, but then of course Rusev might have kicked my head off for doing that.
It would have been worth it.
Yeah. You know what? Because I know we're talking about performances, but Skylar Grey and Kid Ink's performances, I liked them because it was right after Sting versus Triple H. So I got time to relax. I enjoyed the music. So that's when a performance matters. You know what I mean? Like that
was fine.
Yeah, that was.
It wasn't like Pitbull and his shiny head and his sweating and his glasses and
just wait till that goes down. Watch.
Break.
Taker and Bray put on a good solid match. Seeing Ronda Rousey and The Rock was awesome. And then, of course, the main event was a hell of a match. And Seth Rollins cashing in Money in the Bank. So, yeah, you would probably think this would be my #1 WrestleMania, but it's not. But it's still one of my favorites because I went the day after I came back home, I watched it again, and it still held up as an awesome WrestleMania. So, literally, the next day after coming home from Levi's, I watched it again on the network. It still held up.
Yeah, that's special. I definitely have to get to a WrestleMania.
We need to take over WrestleMania in the next 3 to 4 years. The Horsemen need to arrive at WrestleMania together.
Yes.
I need to go. I need to. It's on my bucket list at the very top.
Every wrestling fan's got to go. It's
man, I've been dreaming of that since I was a kid to go to WrestleMania.
This time we need to do Access, WrestleCon.
NXT, yeah, WrestleCon.
There's a lot to do. There is a lot.
Indeed.
There's a lot of YouTubers I know that are doing stuff too, and I wish I could be down there this year.
I wish I could be in Orlando, but like
92 degrees. Woo!
In the next 3 to 4 years, I'm hoping to go to a WrestleMania, no matter where it is. LA, Vegas, Anaheim, Pittsburgh. I'd make the trip.
Yeah, I hope one day it's gotta happen.
I drive there. I'm in Ohio, so I'm close to Pittsburgh.
Freaking, I'll fly down there. Or if it's in Arizona, I wouldn't mind making that trip. Or Washington. I want to go somewhere where I haven't been for Mania. But if it comes back to the Bay Area, you bet your ass I'm going. So
right,
definitely.
All right, so Daniel, go ahead and give your number 4 because I didn't forget you.
We're on number 4, and for me, this is such an important show, as you've mentioned before. This has been mentioned. WrestleMania 3, an iconic show, the show that truly turned WrestleMania into the spectacle that it was. WrestleMania 1 obviously laid the groundwork because without that, Vince not taking the gamble, WrestleMania, as we know, wouldn't have happened. But put WrestleMania in the Silver Dome, not the Super Dome, brother. Make sure I get my domes right. Just to see the total amount of people there, 93,000. It was incredible. And they came there to see Hulk Hogan take on Andre the Giant in one of the most iconic matches in WrestleMania history. Nothing can top Hogan slamming Andre. It's something you see played every year in the WrestleMania packages, as it should be, because it is just that damn good. And then from there, you have to me, it was the first truly classic. When you think WrestleMania classic, you think the Macho Man versus Ricky the Dragon Steamboat at WrestleMania 3. Just what an incredible match that these two had.
Great.
And
yes,
just like you mentioned earlier, the amount of stars, amount of Hall of Famers on this show.
Yeah.
From Harley Race to Junkyard Dog to, Roddy Piper. Just so much. And it was just incredible. You had freaking Jesse Ventura, Gorilla Monsoon at their best, one of my favorite commentary units of all time. So right time, right place, right setting. Just a really good WrestleMania. It's one of a lot of people's favorite, and I had the honor to go back and watch it, and I see why. Just a really good WrestleMania.
Awesome. Yeah, I think I had that one on my list as well. Just because of the legends that were just on this, the great wrestling they put on and everything. It's definitely an iconic Mania. So we're almost done. We're down to our final 3, our top 3, which, like I said, with the top 5, it was just incredibly difficult trying to place these Manias, and I'm sure it was the same for you guys. So let's get into our number 3. We'll start off with Robbie. Go ahead and give your number 3.
All right, number 3 on my list was one of my personal favorite WrestleManias. One of my personal favorite WrestleManias. Just a really good, fun, underrated show. I know I've said that about a few other WrestleManias, but it's true because there are these WrestleManias that are underrated, that aren't talked about a lot. And this is one of them. WrestleMania 21, aka WrestleMania Goes Hollywood. Mike mentioned this. Daniel mentioned it. I just really enjoyed this show. From the opening match, Eddie Guerrero versus Rey Mysterio, hell of an opener, to the very first Money in the Bank ladder match, which I still think is the best Money in the Bank ladder match. And it had the right winner with Edge winning not the champion. Well, he did win the championship, but it was because he cashed the Money in the Bank. Yeah, right. Taker and Orton in a very good match. A very good match. where Orton almost broke the streak. You know that moment where he does the RKO out of the choke slam?
Yeah, that was crazy.
Awesome. I thought it was over. That I was like, whoa, like no way. But Undertaker, of course, kicked out and he beat Randy Orton. Trish Stratus and Christy Hemme, it was what it was. I mean, I like them both, but not the best women's title match, not the worst, but it was what it was. Of course, you had John Cena and Batista each winning their respective world titles on that night. That was the night that they were cemented as the future stars of the company. Stone Cold on Piper's Pit was great. The fact that Piper slapped him, right? And then Austin's like, "Thank you very much for having me, you little son of a bitch."
That was great. I forgot to mention that too.
I forgot that segment. Oh, how could I forget that?
That was great. And then the match that could have been the main event, it wasn't, but it was such an awesome match. It was an instant classic. Shawn Michaels and Kurt Angle. What a 5-star classic that was. Just an awesome wrestling match. And of course, I mean, Shawn Michaels, Kurt Angle, awesome match. And then this one's for you.
I think I'm true.
Yes.
We can't wait. This Friday, he's taking his place.
Man. Imagine they ripped it and play that.
Damn true.
Oh, it's true. It's damn true.
Oh, that would be so funny.
Can we please get that? Can we please get that at his Hall of Fame induction?
That would be great. Oh my goodness.
Woo.
That's a great choice though.
Yes.
All right. Let's go with Daniel. Go ahead and give us your number 3.
We're on number 3. All right. For my number 3, oh man, it's tough. I keep going back and forth, and I just changed it right now. So my number 3, like I said, it's really tough because all of these WrestleManias that we've talked about thus far are very deserving, and you could put them in very close order with one another. So that's why I've gone with, for my number 3, really, really great WrestleMania 19.
Ooh.
Man, what a show this was in 2003. This is up there arguably as one of the best WrestleManias of all time, and it's hard to argue with a card that had Shawn Michaels versus Chris Jericho in an all-time classic. Man, did they have a hell of a match. Just incredible stuff. Hogan versus Vince in the street fight. You wouldn't think that this would be a really good match, but they had a bloodbath. Man, Vince's face when he came up from underneath the ring and just smiling at Hogan, and that was a great moment. Roddy Piper came.
Yeah, Roddy Piper.
And it was like, whoa, what the hell? Then Hulk hulking up, just with the blood. I mean, it was great. They had a war.
It was great.
I love that match. You had the final match for Stone Cold Steve Austin. Rock versus Austin, match number 3. To me, they're weakest, but still a really great match. Anytime you get Austin, Rock in the same ring at the same time, you know it's going to be great stuff. And Rock finally avenges his demons and beats Stone Cold Steve Austin at WrestleMania. And then the main event.
Last match, right?
This was Austin's final match. Hard to believe, 14 years ago.
They didn't know at the time either.
No, they didn't even know if he was going to make it.
Yeah.
He checked himself into the hospital, and I heard this was originally supposed to main event, but due to the uncertainty, that's why Brock and Angle actually main evented. And speaking of, Brock versus Kurt Angle, really awesome main event. I think their match at SummerSlam was better, but this was still a really good match at WrestleMania, and Brock nearly killing himself in the infamous.
I was gonna do that, Daniel. I was gonna do my best Gene impersonation. Like, the match where I was gonna do my best Gene impersonation of the match where Brock Lesnar near kills himself. Breaks his freaking neck.
He did. He almost broke his freaking neck. I mean, man.
Yeah.
Craziness. And then I have to mention, I really liked this triple threat for the tag team championships.
Yes.
Angle, Shelton Benjamin, and Charlie Haas versus Los Guerreros, Eddie and Chavo, and Chris Benoit and Rhino. Really solid stuff right there. You had Matt Hardy taking on Rey Mysterio. And, yeah, just a really great. Those top matches alone made for one of the best WrestleManias. And that's why it's my number 3.
Great
Good choice.
Nice.
Thank you.
Spoiler alert, that may be coming up, but yes.
Yeah, same here. Mike, go ahead and give your number 3.
My number 3 is a WrestleMania that we've already talked about a couple times. We just recently talked about it as well, but it was the WrestleMania that a lot of people believe made WrestleMania, and that is WrestleMania 3. The attendance at the time, I found the exact number, 93,173 apparently attended. I don't want to hear all this bull crap from last year's WrestleMania. This is probably the best attending WrestleMania. He said before, just a bunch of future Hall of Famers on this card, including 2 big matches, Macho Man Randy Savage versus Ricky the Steamboat Dragon, and of course, that big moment with Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant facing off and that big slam. And like you guys said before, this was a WrestleMania that probably, was made WrestleMania what it was and wouldn't be as popular as it is today without this WrestleMania. So with that, I made that night my number 3.
Nice. Awesome.
Yes.
All right. I guess we'll go into my number 3 then. My number 3, you guys are gonna look at me like I'm freaking crazy. And then I'll go into my number 2 because spoiler alert. So my number 3, I know you guys are probably gonna cringe at this, is WrestleMania 26. Now hear me out.
Really?
Hear me out. Okay. This I enjoyed this Mania. Okay. It had that legacy triple threat match, Randy, Cody, Ted DiBiase Jr. Jack Swagger won that Money in the Bank match. That was a pretty cool match. Triple H and Sheamus, hard-hitting contest they had. This was a good match for Sheamus to be on, in WrestleMania against Triple H. We had that little gimmick match, Bret Hart and Vince. Of course, that was bound to happen after their history together. We had Jericho and Edge go at it for, I believe, the World Heavyweight Championship, which was another good match. John Cena and Batista dominating him for probably majority of the match, which seems to be the theme with Cena's matches. You have to think about that. Yep, that seems to be the theme. But Cena overcoming him, reversing the Batista bomb to an STF, and then I think this is probably the sole reason why it's ranked so high. Because it had arguably one of the greatest WrestleMania matches of all time. The Streak versus Shawn's career. Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker doing battle one last time. Shawn's career on the line. And Shawn ultimately, of course, lost the match. And, just after the match, they shook hands, embraced, interacted with the fans and everything after Shawn's career ended. It was just a great moment, great match, great build. And this was why I picked it for number 3.
That's fine. I'll respect it all. Yes.
It has mixed reactions. Yeah. I haven't seen. I know, of course, I've seen Cena Batista. I thought that was solid. Edge and Jericho, I thought was good. I've seen, of course, Taker and Shawn. That was awesome. Of course, that was one of the best main events in WrestleMania history. But no, it's an interesting pick. I like that you picked it. Nothing wrong there. And speaking of Batista. I just remembered, in that time after Batista lost to John Cena. Remember that famous way John Cena beat Batista in the Last Man Standing match?
When he tied him up.
Duct tape.
Yeah, against the pole and he couldn't stand up.
Duct tape? Is that how you win a match? Duct tape?
It was creative. It was.
Are you serious? Really?
That's exactly what I was thinking of.
I love that Batista.
And you remember months later, it was,
run.
you don't make me quit. Don't make me quit. I quit.
What's better, that or when he waved goodbye? Remember the wave?
Oh, yeah.
Was he in a wheelchair or something?
I quit.
Yes, he was.
Quit. And then when he
That was in.
it was like the way they do it in England. Like
He just did that. I'll never forget that.
It was
I want, what? Real quick before we move on, I want Batista to come back and have one more good run because when he came back in 2014, he came back just at the wrong time.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
that was
Daniel
the
Bryan
problem.
was white hot at that time.
It was just Brian's time.
If he'd come back after WrestleMania, and maybe they put him up against Brock at Survivor Series, then he would have gotten a more positive reception. But everybody just wanted Daniel Bryan.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
He deserved it. It's not Batista's fault. If
It's
Batista
not.
come back, like say in the summer, and he targeted Cena or Lesnar, then he would have gotten a positive reaction from the crowd. They would have been happy to see him again.
Yeah, at that time, it didn't matter who was there. If it wasn't Daniel Bryan.
I'm sorry, but they blew it. They if he was gonna be back, they should have saved it for the Rumble.
Yeah, really, they should have.
Yes.
They blew it from the start when they revealed he was coming back. You couldn't have saved it for the Rumble, really?
Tight pants.
Yes.
Yeah, that was just a waste of time.
was.
I'm sure he's probably never coming back now. Like after
Probably
that
not.
happened. And I heard he got treated like crap the whole time. Nobody really said bye to him afterwards.
Probably not.
Just bad. Oh my god, terrible business from them. But okay, I think that was all of our number threes, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
I got
All
so
right,
mine.
good. I don't get to get put on the list again. All right, number two. I believe Daniel just said this was his number three. I'm gonna go ahead and give mine because we just talked about it. WrestleMania 19. I think Danny, you had this at number three, right? I'm not.
Yes, I did.
Okay, so yeah, you said it best. This was a great show. Could have been number one. Like I said, been going back and forth with this top five of where to place it at. The last match in the illustrious career of Stone Cold, Steve Austin. We had a pretty solid match. Matt Hardy and Mysterio. Undertaker, he had Limp Bizkit perform for him when he came out, and he took down A-Train and Big Show, who I think this was supposed to be a tag team match.
Yeah,
In the
with
beginning.
what the heck is his name?
With I think it's Nathan Jones, right?
Nathan Jones. Yeah.
Yep. But they beat him down on heat, so Taker had to have a handicap match. But he winded up helping out Taker in the end, so that was fine. The Triple Threat Tag Team Championship match, Los Guerreros, Benoit, Rhino, and Team Angle went at it. High intensity match, of course. Jericho and HBK, which we've talked about for the past 4 weeks. That kick to the nuts at the end was just the icing on the cake in an incredible match. I'm actually going to rewatch this Mania later.
Yeah.
Triple H, Booker T, good match.
You
Booker T.
won't see Jericho flipping Sean off though.
Oh yeah,
No, they edited
took that out. We're probably not going to see that. Triple H, Booker T. Booker T tried to overcome Triple H, and who had Ric Flair in his corner, couldn't do it. And Vince McMahon and Hogan, that bloodbath, Roddy Piper coming out. That was crazy. And of course, Rock and Austin, which like I think Robbie said, probably wasn't their best match, but it was a good match though. I enjoyed it for what it was. And it winded up being the last match of Stone Cold Steve Austin's career, which we didn't know at that time, which was crazy. And of course, Kurt Angle and Brock, where Brock almost freaking killed himself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jesus, man. I don't know who.
Unbelievable.
I don't know who thought of that. But yeah, that's my number two pick.
Flair has no business up there, damn it. No business. When Booker T knocks Ric Flair off the top rope and JR made that call, I laughed my ass off.
Dude, JR is the
There's no
greatest.
business up there, damn it. No business.
JR is the greatest, man. I love him. Oh man. All right. Let's see. I've been trying to mix it up with who goes when. I've kind of lost track. So Daniel, you go ahead. I don't know who wins.
Don't get on the list again, yeah.
At least he's gonna go. I'm not getting on the list.
You know what? If you miss Daniel again, player, I'm gonna put you in a tag team match.
Oh man, I'm gonna have to go 1-on-1 with the Undertaker.
Stop stealing my lines. Fool was gonna say that. No shit. I went around my work saying I put people in tag team matches that they messed around.
Oh, jeez. Nice.
You're probably confused.
Players mess around. I'm gonna put you in a tag team match.
Gotta love Teddy Long, Hall of Famer.
Future Hall of Famer this Friday.
Yes.
Should be
This
good.
Hall of Fame induction is gonna turn into a tag team match.
Yes.
What if it did?
He's
That
gonna
would be
book a
great.
tag team match. He's gonna book the Usos in a tag team match.
Oh gosh.
Oh my
Holla,
goodness. I'll player.
Yes. All right, so we're on number two. So my number two is a show that I just watched again, and every time I watch this show, from the moment I watched it, April 6th, 2014, it instantly became one of my favorite WrestleManias of all time, and I could still immediately go back and get into this show, just like I was the night that this show happened. And of course, I'm talking about the one, the only, WrestleMania 30. From the opening segment, Hogan, Austin, Rock, the Mount Rushmore of pro wrestling comes to life, and the place explodes. I mean, it was incredible. What an opening segment.
Dude, you
And
just
he
gave me
like Flair?
chills.
Where was it again, Daniel?
At the Silver Superdome, brother. You had
Just
that.
gave me
Silverdome!
chills.
He got
It
Silverdome!
was
He
incredible.
knew he messed up too.
He
They
did.
And it played into the promo, so it worked out. To Daniel Bryan versus Triple H in one of the all-time classic WrestleMania matches. The story that was told from Triple H working over the arm of Daniel Bryan throughout the entire match, and then Bryan winning. Place goes nuts, and then Triple H attacking the arm again, ramming him into the steel post, taking a chair. Bryan's injured going into the main event, so place doubt. He won the match, but Triple H got the last laugh. From there we go to, the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royale. What a great moment for Cesaro. I thought the Battle Royale played out wonderfully. It was a fun Battle Royale. I'll never forget Cesaro picking up the Big Show. That was wow.
That was a great moment.
Wow.
Crowd went crazy.
It was. To Cena, Bray Wyatt, I thought they had a really good match. I wish Cena would have lost. Watching, I like how the match played out. But the way that I would have had it go down is Bray's like, hit me with the chair, John. Just hit him with the chair. Right there.
Oh, that would have been great.
That would have been
it. Into it.
That should have been it. But no, Cena wins. And it just,
LOL.
it hurt it, but, it was what it was. And then we had the match, the moment that I'll never forget as a fan of this sport of professional wrestling.
Oh my God.
Just watching this entire match, watching it again. Keep in mind, I just watched this today, and there was an eerie hush over the crowd. Normally, people are in the Undertaker's matches, but it felt like you kind of knew this was the end. Taker did not look good. He got a concussion when Lesnar picked him up and slammed him down on the mat, and you knew he went to the hospital after this. You could tell Taker was out of it from once he got picked up and dropped down by Lesnar. So Lesnar had to carry the rest of the match. And when it happened, when you could tell Taker was hurting in this match, really, really bad. I mean,
terrible.
What that Brock knocked him out with? What moment was it? What exactly?
Was when they were outside. Brock picked him up on the outside and slammed him onto the floor. That's what did it.
Okay.
That's when Taker got the concussion. You could tell. You look in his eyes. He was loopy the rest of the match. It was one of Taker's worst matches at WrestleMania. But to me, it kind of played into the match because it just, when it happened, when that F5, the third F5 happened, 1, 2, 3, holy shit. I was
like, what the hell?
Gosh.
The silence that fell upon the Superdome.
It was, wow.
You could hear a pin drop from the 30th row.
Like I said, my jaw dropped for 5 minutes. I couldn't believe
what?
I'm like,
and I was so shocked and sad, and I didn't give a fuck about the Divas title match. I just didn't care. I was trying to see what really went down.
I was in disbelief. I'm just like, nah, that didn't happen. He didn't lose.
Oh, yes.
John Cena's just going to come out in his thugonomics thing and do the reverse thing he used to do. He just nope, he lost. He didn't lose. Nope, that didn't happen.
Nope, but it did. 21-1.
The one behind the one in 21-1.
That was just shocking. Paul
Heyman didn't even believe it.
Heyman
sold it.
Heyman, oh my God, he was incredible.
Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh my God!
Wow, as he should.
Dude, that was crazy. I don't even think he thought that was even possible.
No. I mean, very few people knew that was going to happen, and that's what I like. They kept it a big enough secret where nobody knew, and that's how it should be,
Incredible.
And then from one incredible thing to another, Daniel Bryan going into that triple threat match as the underdog, the story, the journey that started at SummerSlam 2013 when Triple H pedigreed his ass, to Bryan beating the game, getting inserted into that triple threat match, having to deal with all the hell, the punishment that Triple H came out. He had the crooked referee, Scott Armstrong. Everything that happened to Bryan came full circle, and I liked how he took down the Authority. He took down Scott Armstrong. He got Batista bomb and RKO'd into the announcer's table, was put on a stretcher, and still Bryan persevered, fought it off, got in the yes lock. Batista taps out. Daniel Bryan's your World Heavyweight Championship. And the place went freaking nuts. Wow. What more can you say? WrestleMania 30. Let the good times roll.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what the tagline was, wasn't it? Let the good times roll.
Yes, it was. What a show. Wow.
Yeah, that was a great show.
It was.
That one should have made my list as well, but it was just that damn streak ending, man. I couldn't. That hit me right here. I'm pointing at my heart right there.
It still hurts.
Yeah.
Oh, still hurts to this day. Oh man, great WrestleMania though.
Yes, it was. Wow.
All right, let's go with Mike. Go ahead and give your number 2.
All right, my number 2 could probably be a number 1 very easily, but I had to go with another one for number 1. My number 2 was WrestleMania 17. TLC 2, the TLC 2 match. It was unbelievable. Vince and Shane in the no holds barred match. Triple H and The Undertaker, the first of 3 matches they had at WrestleMania. That took match at WrestleMania 17. How can we forget also Kurt Angle versus Chris Benoit? And of course, another one, I think this is the first or second match between these two, Rock versus Stone Cold. Second, okay, yes. Their match as well. Overall, though, but it was just definitely another great WrestleMania written down on paper. Again, I got to go back and watch it, but I had to put it as my number 2, WrestleMania 17.
Nice choice.
Yes.
All right, Robbie, go ahead. You're up.
All right. My final 2 picks, they could be number 1 and number 2 either way, because these are both great WrestleManias. But my number 2 pick is WrestleMania 19. One of my personal favorite WrestleManias, one of the best WrestleManias of all time. Just a hell of a show. I don't know if this was the first time. No, I don't think this was the first time they did it in an outdoor stadium, Safeco Field. But I just liked the presentation and the fact that it was at a baseball. It was at a baseball field, and everything just looked great, And you had a ton of really good stuff on the show. A hot opener for the Cruiserweight Championship between Matt Hardy and Rey Mysterio. Of course, Undertaker in the handicap match against Big Show and A-Train. That was a good, solid match. Not one of Taker's best, but still a good, solid match. A real fun, underrated tag team title match between Team Angle, Los Guerreros, and Chris Benoit and Kurt Angle. The
Underrated as hell.
Yeah, the classic we've mentioned between Shawn and Chris Jericho. Love that match. Love post-match. Triple H and Booker T was a really good world title match. Vince and Hogan was a really good street fight. Rock and Austin was a really good conclusion to their trilogy. And then, of course, the main event for the WWE Championship, Brock Lesnar challenging Kurt Angle. Great wrestling match. And like we've said, Gene, Brock Lesnar nearly damn near kills himself.
Yes.
Shooting star press nearly damn near breaks his neck.
Oh my goodness.
Start to finish. We've already talked about it, so that's all I'm gonna say. Great show from start to finish. Oh, and you had Tori Wilson and Stacy Keibler and the Miller Lite catfight girls in a catfight that I loved, and freaking Jonathan Coachman got involved and he got pantsed, but the girls were beautiful.
Yes, they were. Of course. All right. I believe we all got our number 2s, and we're now on number 1, right?
Yes.
All right, I'm glad Daniel said yes, because I thought I was about to get put on the list. Anyway, Ski, so let's give our number 1, our favorite WrestleMania pay-per-view of all time. Robbie, I'm going to kick it off with you again.
All right. Number 1 on my list is WrestleMania that I've watched again and again and again, and I bought it right when it came out on DVD. It was a very special WrestleMania. And it was where it all began again, and it's WrestleMania 20. WrestleMania 20, I love that show. I mean, so much great stuff on this show. John Cena and the Big Show in the opening match for the United States Championship. That was when Cena was really red hot. That's when he started his
Thugonomics.
rise to the top. Yeah, so he was still Dr. Thugonomics.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, his rap to the Big Show was so funny. Ain't no way I'm going to lose to that King Kong ripoff. That's like woman beating Patrick Ewing in a tip-off.
I missed the rap.
I love Thugonomics Cena. He was great.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Oh, man.
You got the franchise player on the Super Bowl stage. You also had the 2 fatal 4-way matches for the respective tag team championships, which the Raw match was better than the Smackdown match. And ironically, There's no SmackDown Tag Team Championship so far on this year's WrestleMania. But that's what else I like about 20 and 20.
I think it is.
20 and 19. They were the first two Manias that were after the brand split. So you got to see what each brand had to offer. So yeah, on 20, you also had Jericho and Christian, underrated hidden gem. Love that match. Rock and Sock Connection versus Evolution, great match with The Rock doing his Ric Flair strut twice.
That's right.
And then, of course, Randy Orton with one of the earliest RKOs out of nowhere. I mean,
oh my goodness!
Ready to put him in the mandible claw. Orton is stumbling. Orton is hurt. Boom! Out of nowhere, RKO, and Randy Orton gets the victory for his team. You had Cruiserweight Open, which was a good, fun match, but I think because of time constraints, it didn't go as long as it should have, and it wasn't as good as it should have been. And that's what I think they might do with the women for the SmackDown title. It might be a women's championship open, which would be fun, or a gauntlet style match.
Yeah.
You had the Playboy evening gown match between Sable and Tori Wilson and Miss Jackie and Stacey Keebler. I thought they all looked beautiful. We had before this year, we had Goldberg and Brock, of course, which is
the only downfall of that shit.
Yeah.
Yes, the big black eye. I mean, I hated
I'm
that.
trying to do it again.
It should have been an awesome match. You had Victoria versus Molly Holly for the women's title, and the stipulation was if Molly lost, she'd get her head shaved. Solid match.
That was fun. I like that.
I remember that.
Eddie and Kurt Angle. Yep. Before I shaved Vince, Victoria shaved Molly Holly.
Oh gosh.
You had Eddie Guerrero and Kurt Angle. That was a great championship match with Eddie lying, cheating, and stealing to retain the title. He took his boot off. Remember the boot?
Oh yeah.
Ankle lock.
Yep.
Kurt Angle freaking threw the boot at him.
He was like, "You son of
that was great.
Damn you, Eddie!"
Undertaker returning as the Dead Man against Kane. That's one of my favorite matches. It was solid for the most part, but just to see Taker return and hear Paul Bearer go, "Oh yeah, oh yeah, you're no son of mine."
You remember when Paul Heyman dressed up as Paul Bearer? That was great.
Oh my god!
Is that Paul Heyman?
Yeah, I was like, what the hell?
What the hell?
Paul wants you to know that even if you get counted out, it's still lost.
and then the main event, the amazing triple threat match between Triple H, Chris Benoit, and Shawn Michaels for the World Heavyweight Championship. Soma JR, what the fuck?
Bayard.
It's okay. It's my channel. We botch. It's okay. It's fine.
JR's calls in that match, especially when Benoit won the title, were great. The emotional embrace between Benoit and Eddie was beautiful. Great way to end WrestleMania. My favorite WrestleMania, an incredible WrestleMania. Awesome show. Love it.
Yeah.
Great pick.
Awesome. Okay. I think was that the first one who?
Yeah, I was the first
Yes.
to tell number one.
Okay. All right. We'll go with Mike. Go ahead and give your number one WrestleMania pay-per-view of all time.
Oh, yes. There was no doubt about which one was my number one WrestleMania. And it's one that Dan actually just talked about. I believe Robbie had it earlier on his list also. But I had to go with WrestleMania 30, with being just the second WrestleMania I ever watched. The first one as watching pretty much all the time for WWE. Just an amazing show. Of course, the beginning with Hulk Hogan, Stone Cold, and Rock all in the ring. And, of course, Hogan's famous botch of the Silver Dome instead of the Super Dome. Just an iconic moment to have these three in the ring at the same time. The great way to kick off WrestleMania 30. Cesaro winning the Andre the Giant Royal Battle Royal. Even though afterwards he didn't really get too far at that time, it was still a great moment for Cesaro at WrestleMania for him. Well-deserved. To the opening match of Daniel Bryan versus Triple H. And also, of course, got to mention again, Triple H's entrances at WrestleMania, especially this one was one of my favorite. Just that like Game of Thrones type entrance he had, and then just emphasizing also he's like the big ultimate villain that the big name Daniel Bryan of the night you want to see overcome. I just felt like that really emphasized that on Triple H. The whole match itself, there was times where you worried that it could be it for Daniel Bryan, and I do like also how they include Bryan kicking out of a pedigree. That I think that needed to happen because, as I've said plenty of times in most of our previous collaborations, that was a night where they just threw everything, all the odds at Daniel Bryan left and right, and Bryan, was able to kick out of that pedigree to get the flying knee on Triple H for the win. As we said before, Triple H took out Bryan's arm, hoping to hurt him enough that he wouldn't be able to win the championship later on that night. Which we'll get that in a second. Other matches, of course, I enjoyed, the Shield squashing Kane and the New Age Outlaws. Again, very quick match, just a squash match, but at the time, the Shield was so hot that time. That's what we pretty much wanted to see happen. Just them just destroy, which is what they did. John Cena and Bray Wyatt, again, despite the wrong person probably going over in that match, it was still a decent match. I'll give it that credit. And then, of course, the end of the streak. Again, even though I'd only been watching full time for about a year at the time, but by then I still even felt the impact of that loss for Taker. Like even when they did that 3 count, like between 2 and 3, it felt even longer than just a second to me.
It was a long count. Like
I was just like, no, they goofed. They could not have done that. Like I couldn't believe it myself that the streak was over. It was just so heart-stopping. I was just in shock. Of course, everybody was in your house that night, Dan. And of course, the that main event, of course, again, the story of Daniel Bryan being what really got me into watching WWE, and just wanting to see him win that title so bad. Again, throwing all the odds against him. Triple H and the Authority coming out with the sledgehammer, Scott Armstrong, the RKO into the Batista bomb to the table. They threw everything at Bryan, but this match ended exactly how it should have. Daniel Bryan putting Batista into the yes lock and tapping out. The crowd went nuts. Again, one of the best calls of Michael Cole's career, because who was in his ear at that time? Triple H.
Yep.
But again, just what I remember, I marked out, it was just an exciting night, and I'm never going to ever forget. So that's why I made WrestleMania 30 my number 1.
I appreciate that. That was a good Mania that I left off my list, which is so hard to do because I really enjoyed it. Just all around, it was just the story with Daniel Bryan itself, man. Like you said, they threw everything at him. And usually they say the expression, oh, they threw everything but the kitchen sink. No, they threw that damn kitchen sink at him. Everything they could have possibly done.
Once again, without Daniel Bryan, that WrestleMania would have been crap.
It would have been, really.
And it could have been one of the saddest of all time, too.
Spoiler alert, I already know what Daniel's number 1 is.
Oh, yeah.
Well, let's go ahead and hear it then. Go ahead and
guys. After this, I'm going to have to bow out early because it's 5 o'clock, but sorry about that. But my number 1 is the legendary, and I think it goes without saying, this is a lot of people's favorite WrestleMania of all time, WrestleMania XXVII, or if you like to call it WrestleMania XVII.
Look at this guy.
What do you guys prefer, 17 or X7? It's up to you. I don't care. But what a show. I mean, it goes without saying, this was the pinnacle of the Attitude Era. It's ironic. My list began with WrestleMania 14, which some say christened the Attitude Era, and now I'm going with the show, WrestleMania 17, that ended the Attitude Era. It was the end of the Monday Night Wars. I mean, everything WCW was purchased a week ago before this show. So this was a huge landmark event, at the Houston Astrodome with how many people were there? 67,000. The Reliant Astrodome. I want to get the name right. 67,925. Yeah, Jim Ross, Paul Heyman on great commentary team. And besides that, you had a great card up and down. This was WWF going all out from, Chris Jericho beating William Regal, fun Intercontinental Championship match, to Kane, Raven, and Big Show in the Triple Threat Hardcore match, which I really enjoyed the way they brawled throughout the arena.
Yeah.
The what?
The golf cart.
The golf cart?
They almost cut the power to the entire pay-per-view.
That'd have been bad.
Yeah, it would have. Kurt Angle, Chris Benoit, not one of their best matches, but still a really good match. Shane McMahon versus Vince, the iconic street fight with Mick Foley as special guest referee. You had Stephanie Trish getting involved. Yep. Then you had Linda rising up out of her catatonic state. Yeah. The place goes nuts. Vince has the trash can. She kicks him right in the McMahon family jewels. Down goes Vince. Shane hits the coast to coast. Great stuff there. TLC 2, what more can you say? It's just pure chaos and carnage. Even the gimmick battle royale, that was something fun to watch too. The Undertaker and Triple H, their first of their their trilogy of great matches at WrestleMania. This is where it all began. Really good match they had here. And then finally, The Rock versus Stone Cold Steve Austin. Excuse me, one of the greatest matches in WrestleMania history. So, guys, I'm going to be leaving, but that is why this is my number one pick. And I want to say before I head out, great job to all of you in the WrestleMania Moments series. I'm glad we were able to get together for all 4 of these parts. And you guys should check out Mike's channel, Gene's channel, and Robbie's channel. They are really great channels. So I am out, guys.
Right. Thank you for joining us here.
Thanks.
Not a problem. Thank you for having me on. And
Yeah, thank you, Daniel.
this won't be the last time. We'll be doing more video collaborations, but I got to head out early.
Yeah, we need to do something. I got to talk to you guys about something I have in mind for my channel, but we'll say that.
Sure.
All right.
All right,
Yeah,
guys.
definitely, guys.
Finish
Go
up.
sub to Daniel's channel. It'll be down in the description. Thank you for
Thank
joining.
you.
I know you got to go, and we'll talk to
do.
you later, Daniel. Thank you.
All right, guys. Thanks. See ya.
See you later, Dan.
See ya. All right, and that's my number one as well. That was a great way to segue. WrestleMania 17 is my number one, of course. Like Daniel said, just a great show, top to bottom, just great moments all throughout. The street fight, Vince and Shane, crazy. TLC 2, Triple H and Undertaker. Like, what more can you say? This card just speaks for itself, and was just an incredible WrestleMania. Very physical from top to bottom. I was invested in the whole thing, the build up. Austin Rock, like, what more can you say? It was just a hell of a WrestleMania, and that's why it's my favorite.
Indeed, yes.
So yeah, any last words you want to get in about any of these WrestleManias or anything before we wrap it up?
Just hope WrestleMania 33 will make a top 10 list next year, maybe.
Oh,
Who knows?
please. Oh,
Happy
my goodness.
WrestleMania week, everybody. I'm excited. I'm excited for the show.
Yeah.
Yes, me too.
I got some big things coming from my channel this week. I'm sure you guys do as well. This was great. And this wraps up our 4-part series of our WWE WrestleMania memories. I want to thank my Horseman brothers for joining me and hosting me on their respective channels. I'm going to give them the opportunity to plug their channels as well. Make sure you guys go check them out and subscribe to them. They have awesome channels and they produce great content. So Robbie, you can go ahead and plug your channel and whatever, your Twitter and everything else.
Yeah. All right. So thank you again, Gene. I just want to thank you, Daniel, who signed off, of course, and Mike. This has been a great Mania Memories series. Thank you guys. You're my Horseman brothers, my brethren.
Indeed.
Please, everybody, go out and support their channels, and please support my channel as well. Robbie One Kenobi, ROBBIE, the number 1 KENOBI. That's how you spell it on Twitter and YouTube. I haven't really made any videos I haven't made a lot of videos lately, but I'm very passionate about professional wrestling. I love what I do, so please support my channel. Please support our channel, which we're here to have a great time. We're here to be, no drama. We're just here to have a great time. And yeah, thank you all who watched and listened to this, who watched from the beginning. And if you didn't catch up, if you are behind or something on these videos, or you just haven't had time to watch them, well,
Wait for it.
You just made the list.
Yes.
You definitely made the list.
I am Robbie One Kenobi, the self-proclaimed king of sound style. It's been a real blast.
Awesome.
Yes.
And Mike, you go ahead and plug your channel. I would have had Daniel do it, but of course he's already gone. He already, whatever.
Yeah. All right. So you can check me out on Twitter. My Twitter is DemandAirboy93, and on YouTube as a club Demand1993. Again, I do pretty much anything: video game walkthroughs, wrestling talk shows, and all that jazz. So yes, of course, check me out. Check out Robbie. Check out Dan. Check out Gene. They're all great to listen to. They always have great things to say as well. So make sure to check all of us out.
Awesome.
Who said I signed out, Gene? You didn't give me my number 10 spot.
Of course, you have to, Robbie.
He's back. He's made a return.
Wait a minute. It's Daniel Kaiser. Daniel Kaiser has returned.
By God, that man has a friend. Oh man, this was awesome. Once again, I want to thank you
Check
guys.
out my Mania week video. I have a ton of content.
Oh my
Oh, jeez, oh Lord.
You guys should definitely check out Daniel's channel, though. He's gonna have a big week coming up as well.
Oh, yes.
Well, yeah, once again, I just want to thank you guys for joining me and having me on your channel. It was a great experience. These 4 weeks have been great, reflecting on our WrestleMania memories and some things we probably forgot about that somebody else had on their list that we were able to go back in time and revisit. That was definitely great. I want to thank everybody for watching. If you haven't watched all 4 parts, like Robbie said, you just made the list and you need to go back and watch them. They'll be in the description, and they'll also be on, I think, all of our channels. We all made like a playlist for them. So all 4 parts are in order. Yeah, I'm going to put this one in as well as soon as it's done processing or whatever. But definitely go check out all 4 of them. Go subscribe to all these guys' channels. Follow them on Twitter and everything else. Go support them. Their channels are incredible. They're my Horseman brothers. I do appreciate them doing this series with me and giving me the opportunity to live stream. This is my first live stream on my channel, so this is awesome.
My friend, you did well.
I appreciate that.
You did awesome.
I'm glad you guys were here for it. I want to thank everybody who watched, and leave down in the comments your favorite WrestleMania pay-per-views, and go back on the other videos and leave all of your favorite WrestleMania memories as well. We're all interested to see how you guys place these WrestleMania pay-per-views and all the other memories. Mania Week is just getting started this week. This is it. Monday Night Raw kicks off tonight with the Go Home show. We got Smackdown, NXT, all of it. We will be covering all of it all throughout the week. And we just appreciate all your guys' support. We want to thank you guys for watching. And we'll talk to you guys later on. Peace.
It's me, Austin. Oh, son of a bitch.
Son of a bitch. All right, one more time. Thank you guys. We'll talk to you guys later on. Peace out.